Hi, listeners. Welcome to my channel, where we present stories of real-life cheating wives from Reddit users. Today, I want to share a deeply personal story that spans decades, full of heartbreak, betrayal, and ultimately, redemption. It's a story that might resonate with some of you and offer a different perspective on love, loss, and the possibility of second chances. So let's get started. I met my wife on a blind date, and it was awkward from the get-go. She was vivacious, beautiful, and full of life. Me? I was reserved, not someone who turns heads. But despite our differences, we clicked. We got married and built a beautiful life together. We had 2 wonderful children, and everything seemed perfect. We had a nice home, good finances, supportive families, and great friends. Life was good. Our happiness hit a roadblock when we decided to have a 3rd child. My wife became pregnant quickly, but at 6 months, she had a miscarriage. It was devastating. She sunk into a deep depression, blaming herself for the loss. I tried to comfort her, but nothing seemed to help. Slowly, she started to come out of her shell, and things seemed to be getting back to normal. During her recovery, my wife decided to take a part-time job as a waitress and bartender. It was her way of getting out of the house and feeling productive. I supported her decision, but things began to change. She started dressing more provocatively for work, which she said was for better tips. I was uncomfortable, but she laughed it off. The owner of the restaurant was a good man, but his son, who worked there too, was a different story. He was handsome, arrogant, and flashy. My wife often mentioned how good-looking he was, but dismissed him as a jerk. Yet they started to develop a friendship, and eventually it turned into something more. One night, my wife broke down and confessed she had been seeing this guy for 6 months. She told me she loved him and wanted to leave me to be with him. I was devastated. She moved out, and our divorce was finalized. I maintained my composure for the sake of our children and tried to move forward. Life without her was tough, but I focused on my kids and work. She moved in with her boyfriend, but their relationship quickly soured. He was a drunk, lazy, and even slapped our youngest daughter during an argument. I got my kids out of there and confronted him. My wife was ashamed and soon ended things with him. Years passed. Our children grew up, went to college, started their own families. I dated a few women, but never pursued anything serious. My ex-wife, on the other hand, struggled with a string of failed relationships. She often expressed regret about leaving me, but I couldn't let go of the past. As we approached 60, I decided to spend winters in the Carolinas. My ex-wife asked to visit, and to my surprise, all the old feelings came rushing back. She ended up staying for 2 weeks, which turned into a month. One night, she broke down, expressing deep regret for the pain she caused. I realized that my love for her had never died. We decided to give it another shot, but without remarrying. Our children were shocked, but supportive. They knew our love had never truly faded. Now we're building a new life together, one filled with love, respect, and the wisdom that comes with age. So am I crazy for giving my ex-wife another chance? Maybe. But at this stage in our lives, all that matters is love and respect. We've faced our demons and are writing a new chapter in our story, one that I hope will be filled with happiness and peace. During the divorce, my family, especially my dad, was furious and began saying terrible things about her. My wife's side of the family was also upset, but didn't show the same level of animosity. I actually had to ask my dad to stop with the vitriolic insults against my wife. She was still the mother of his grandchildren, and he needed to show her respect as their grandmother. He agreed and commended me on my approach to the situation. I didn't see any benefit in seeking revenge. She was the mother of my children, and I needed to maintain an amicable relationship with her for their sake. Deep down, I would have loved to be vindictive, but I thought long and hard about it and decided to take the high road. When we signed the divorce papers, it was surreal. She seemed almost giddy, which shocked me. We had been together for many years and had a family. This was the only time I felt disrespected by her during the whole process. But I let it slide. I had thought about what to say and decided on something that might leave a lasting impression. I told her, "I am of course sad about this. I thought we had a good life and were a good team. I apologize to you if you think I failed you because I was not able to bring you the happiness you wanted and you thought somebody else would give you a better chance at happiness. I do think the miscarriage had a lot more to do with this than we realize. When tragedies take place, people either get closer and stronger or there is separation and loss. I am sad and find it ironic that what should have been a happy experience for us is what destroyed us in the end. But that is in the past now. I want you to have a happy life, and we can work together to give our kids the happiest and most stable life we can." The room went silent. Her face turned stark white, and I saw regret in her eyes. With that, I got up, shook her hand, wished her well, and left. Things went okay at first. She lived with the guy, but within several months, their relationship started falling apart. He was a drunk, lazy, and not much of a man. He even had a wandering eye and started seeing someone else. The owner of the restaurant was embarrassed and often looked it when I picked up food. My ex-wife began calling me to lament about her life. I told her I wasn't the person to talk to about this. She agreed, but seemed hurt. One night, my ex-wife had the kids over for a sleepover. Her boyfriend drank too much and slapped our youngest daughter. I went over, got my kids, and told him my next call would be to the cops if it happened again. I couldn't resist telling my ex-wife, "And this is what you left me for?" She hung her head in shame. Later that night, she showed up at my door, sobbing. She'd broken up with him and wanted to come home. I thought long and hard and told her that while I loved her, it wasn't a good idea. There were too many sad memories. I took her to her parents' house. Her father thanked me for looking after her, despite everything. She lived with her parents for a year, got a good job, and moved into her own place. She was a good mother, and her spark returned. She had a string of relationships, but none lasted. She often told me I was the best relationship she ever had, but I kept things cordial. During this time, I dated several women, but never pursued anything serious. I focused on work and my kids, deciding that going solo was the best route for me. The years flew by, and our kids did well. They attended college, started good careers, got married, and had families. I would see my ex-wife at family events. She always asked if there was still a chance for us to get back together. I always told her no. She regretted her decision and felt alone at events like weddings and funerals. As we approached 60, I decided to retire and move somewhere warm for the winters. My ex-wife asked to visit, and I agreed. All the old feelings came rushing back. She ended up staying for 2 weeks, which turned into a month. One night, she broke down, expressing deep regret for the pain she caused. I realized that my love for her had never died. We decided to give it another shot, but without remarrying. Our children were shocked, but supportive. They knew our love had never truly faded. Now, we're building a new life together, one filled with love, respect, and the wisdom that comes with age. So am I crazy for giving my ex-wife another chance? Maybe. But at this stage in our lives, all that matters is love and respect. We've faced our demons and are writing a new chapter in our story, one that I hope will be filled with happiness and peace. Thanks for reading, and I hope my story shows that time can heal most wounds and that sometimes it's worth giving love a second chance. Don't hesitate to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.